Hi, I'm Megan.
I'm Mike.
Do you want a unique, personalized wedding? Well, we are going to show you a few ways you can customize your wedding, all for a great price using 3D printing. Hi, in this video, we're going to show you a few examples of how we use 3D printing in our wedding, and then we'll give you some additional ideas to get you thinking about how you want to customize your wedding. So make sure you stick all the way till the end so you can get all of the tips and ideas. So for our wedding, Mike was actually in the beginning of his 3D printing kind of journey, and so he brilliant came up with the idea to utilize this 3D printing in our wedding. I really wanted a budget wedding, so it was definitely helpful for that. And how I kind of started, you gotta always start with the cake, right? So I wanted to do cupcakes. For our cupcakes, Mike printed little cupcake toppers for them, and we had two different styles. We had the big M because Megan, we had an M&M themed wedding, and now these took a little while to print, correct?
They did take a little while to print. So when I printed in sets of 5. So I could print 5 pics per print. It took about 4 to 5 hours per printing, but I made 4 or 5 per print. Looking at that, just the cost savings alone of making our own picks. If you go out there on Etsy and other sites to try to find a monogram or these special picks, they're expensive. Where we had 72 cupcakes?
Yeah, I feel.
Where I made, I think, 75 or 80 of these different picks, and I made different types of picks. I made different types of colors using the PLA and different options that were available.
Yeah, so we could pick our themed colors and exactly what we wanted. So the M was one thing you printed, and then another one was just like the bride and the groom, which was really, really cute. I liked those. And we had a lot of people comment on them. They really thought that was pretty impressive that we made these ourselves, or you made them. I'll give you the credit. So in addition to the cupcake toppers, now again, you may want a more traditional wedding where you have the big tiered cake, and you can print a very elaborate a cake topper, again, to fit exactly your theme. Again, we'll give you some more ideas in just a little bit, so keep that in mind. Now, as I mentioned before, we had an M&M themed wedding along with the first letters of our name. So to hold these M&Ms and kind of had a candy buffet, we came up with this M container. So it was the outline of the M, but we could fill it with the M&Ms. Now, any thoughts about, was this one a hard one to print, or?
So the initial model for this one that I got off Thingiverse, the M was completely enclosed. I had to cut the top off to make it hollow, to make it be the bowl. But printing time for this was maybe 20 hours.
Okay.
It took a
it's
while.
It's a good size too.
It took a day to print, but it's 300 by 300 is the size of the Ender 3 table, and that took up pretty much the entire table. But it was definitely well worth it.
Yeah, I think it came out really good. So here it's filled with the M&Ms. So I think one big take home with this is, if this is a great idea to use for your wedding or other special occasion, just make sure you're not waiting until the last minute to print these. You want to kind of have this planned out just a little bit in advance to make sure you have it ready in time and everything is the way you want it to be.
Yep, because it is very easy to have a failed print.
Yes.
So you definitely want to make sure you have plenty of time set aside to print this stuff. It can be interesting sometimes what you'll find for a failed print. Luckily, I didn't have a failed print this time.
Yeah. Well, that's good. All right. So now your turn. So we kind of taking this into concept, I thought about what are some other things we could have done. Again, this was kind of early in Mike's 3D printing, and so I went to Thingiverse and looked up some other ideas that you might be able to use for your wedding. So hopefully you're enjoying this. Put a like and start to get ready to have ideas for your wedding. So on Thingiverse, there are many different options, like I said, for cupcake toppers or just cake toppers in general. I found this one because we're kind of a nerdy couple, so I thought this one was really cool. Again, you can just really customize it to your interests and to you and your significant other. This is another one where you might actually have to, if you just wanted to put something on top, it would be kind of neat to overlay this. I'm also the Disney nerd, so I liked this one as well.
And it's one of those things, if you're interested in 3D printing and you want to make this a pick, you could load this model into Tinkercad and add the pick piece to the model to turn it into a cupcake pick if you wanted to.
How hard is it to kind of play around in Tinkercad?
Not very hard. Okay. I've started making stuff in there in less than an hour. It has really good tutorials, really good starter program for anybody wanting to make basic changes to a print.
Very cool. All right, I saw this one and I thought this one was gorgeous. You don't even have to use this one just for your wedding, or you can and then use it later. This one was really pretty. Just the lantern look, so especially if you're gonna have a night theme, the big white tent, this one would look gorgeous, and it has the numbers for your tables and if you wanted that.
Now, again, when she commented time is important, this is a multi-material piece where you've got the peel, you've got the black enclosure, but then you've got the transparent part inside that can also be 3D printed. But it takes time, especially for the transparent type. So make sure you're giving yourself plenty of time to get these made for that process.
Yes. So ladies, just dream in advance, so your man has some time to print these for you. Again, if you're getting some ideas, if you're getting excited, please hit like on this video as we keep going. Now, again, for centerpieces, there's all sorts of vases on Thingiverse, so have fun looking at all the different options with vases. Loved this one. Also a big sunflower fan, so that might have helped with this one. But there's so many different things you can do. Now, I took off the vase that had a bunch of holes in it because apparently that one's a little challenging to print. But again, so many different options when it comes to vases. Everything from very sleek and modern to, I mean, anything that's going to fit you and your special day. Again, if you want to think about even beyond just centerpieces for your tables, there's what are you going to hold the ring in? So again, kind of went with a fun theme here, but also different options. Think outside the box. Speaking of box, no pun intended. So you can find different boxes you can use to hold your ring in. Again, the sky's really the limit, and you really get to be creative here. And this that one was probably pretty small, so that one may not take quite as long to print.
No, smaller print, that wouldn't have taken as long to print.
Fantastic.
Even the vases, like she was describing, vases, they're hollow prints. Some of those can print in 1 to 2 hours. Oh. It just kind of depends on the size that you're wanting to print it to.
Yeah, very cool. Now this one is probably a little bit more elaborate. I think they actually use wood filament, right, for this one?
Yes, this looks like it's been made with there's a wood filament. I forget the maker of it, but you can actually wood stain it after you've printed it and sanded it to make it actually look like real wood, which is what they've used here.
Which is really cool. So again, I'm also an elephant fan, so you're seeing a lot of me in this. But another way to display rings or anything you want, again, as centerpieces for your table. Pretty endless here. Card placement cards, you can get really creative. This one could also be really neat for an engagement party, all sorts of things. And these are, again, you could adjust sizes too, so you can kind of play, again, maybe print one, make sure it's the right size you like, and you can, this one again would work for a lot of different things here. And also, what about napkin rings? You can get really creative here. They had quite a few on Thingiverse. And again, these are things you might even be able to use after the wedding, heaven forbid, right? We actually be able to use something after the wedding as well. So all sorts of different styles. This one was a really pretty Celtic theme to it. There's also, if you have like a nautical theme, if you have a big summer wedding, beach wedding, this one I thought was really, really neat. If you have a nighttime wedding, there's stars. Again, all sorts of things to really get creative. And again, these are probably fairly small.
These are fairly small, simple prints. But of course, you are going to remember, with something like this, depending on the size of your wedding, you're also going to be printing in bulk.
Sure.
So you've got to give that into account. It may take only an hour to print one, but you need to print 100.
For some people, like 500. So,
yes. So you got to make sure you're taking in time. And actually, one thing too, while we're talking about rings, there's actually models out there for 3D printed wedding rings.
That's good.
Now, granted, if you do that, use ABS filament or something stronger. Don't make sure you're using a good filament if you're printing that one. But some people, the ring's completely specialized for them.
Yeah.
Because they printed it, whatever color they wanted. So I remember hunting for my wedding ring. We had a terrible time finding the right color.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of one of those things. You can go that far, or if just you need a ring now and plan on buying the actual ring later, hey, there's a simple placeholder for you.
Or you want the ring from Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
You never know. All right. I hope you are liking this a lot. Please, again, hit the like button, subscribe if you're really getting enjoyment, and so you never miss one of our videos. And yeah, I hope you get some really amazing ideas. Make your wedding all your own, very creative, at a great price. Any last thoughts?
No, that's all we've got. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we will see you guys in the next video.
Bye, guys.